Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hendersonville, Tennessee. Now, we're just a little bit outside of Nashville right now, and behind these walls was the former home of Johnny Cash and June Carter Cash. Now, as we all know, Johnny Cash was an absolute legend in the music industry. He was married, he didn't have the greatest relationship with his first wife, and he ended up meeting June Carter and fell madly in love, and it became one of the greatest love stories probably in music history. Now, they ended up building this house in 1968, and this became their family home. They lived in this house for 35 years, and this is what the house looked like around the 1980s. Now, this house was the main house that Johnny Cash and June Carter lived in. And as you can see right back here, I'm not sure if this is a garage or if this was the famous recording studio that he had on this property. Now, Johnny and June lived on this property until their passing in 2003, and the home was sold in 2005 to Barry Gibb of the Bee-Gees, and in 2007, the house burned down. And I'll insert a picture here, but this is what the fire scene looked like, but it completely demolished everything on this property except for one part of the building. And if you come out to visit this, the road is very uneven and there's not really a place to park. But this right here was the original gate to get into the Johnny Cash house. There is a plaque here that you can see. The house has been sold. There are no trespassing signs. So if you come to visit, be respectful. But it shows right here that this was referred to as the Nature's House. Rugged beauty existed with open rafters, barn boards, and a wall of native limestone. The 14,000 square foot home overlooked Old Hickory Lake with panoramic views and gardens that stretched across the property. Here, Johnny and June Carter Cash entertained family, friends, and neighbors for 35 years. The Cash home also served as a retreat for fellow musicians to gather and compose music until the deaths of Johnny and June. Now, like I said, there was a fire, and because of that, there really is not much on the property now. You can drive by and see. There's not a whole lot to see, but it is a very, very beautiful piece of property. Now, I'll put in a couple other pictures of some of the views that they would have had from their backyard and where the swimming pool used to be. But there is only one building left. They are doing work on this property. I was told that a couple bought it and are planning on building a kind of their dream home on it. It was a local hedge fund manager, I believe. But this is the property, and next door was Roy Orbison. Not too far down the road, Conway Twitty lived. So a lot of really, really influential country musicians and just musicians in general. The Hendersonville area is a very beautiful area, so a lot of people like to call this home. And I should also note that if you guys watched the Joaquin Phoenix film Walk the Line about Johnny Cash, some of that movie was actually filmed on this property. And I apologize if the camera's getting a little bit wonky right now. There's not really a great place to walk out here. The road is very, there is no sidewalks, obviously, and I've fallen into a couple little holes. But right across the street, this right here is referred to as the Mama Cash house. Now, Johnny Cash bought this house in 1974 for his parents, but when Johnny and June Carter's health started to decline, they moved into this house because it was smaller, it was a one-story home, and this is actually the last home that technically Johnny and June lived in. This is a public house, though, so I didn't want to get any closer, but it does look like there's a plaque by the door. So whoever owns this house must be well aware of the history of it and somewhat accepting of people driving by taking a look. As you can see, this is a pretty affluent area. The house across the street on the other side of the Mama Cash house is pretty luxurious. But this is the property. This is the one of the old gates right here. And you can see how big the property was. It was all on, its lakefront property. So, and I believe Johnny Cash really enjoyed fishing. He had a dock set up in the back and chairs set up. So it was a place that he could come to and feel at home. And it was a place he loved to share with his family, fellow musicians. I believe he had a recording studio here. and I believe Bob Dylan recorded there and several other people. But just a really interesting property. I wish it was still here, but, not really much you can do about that. But it is nice that you can still come by and see. Neighbors are pretty friendly when it comes to this. They're very used to people checking out the area. But if you decide to come and visit, I will say that you cannot park in front of the house just because of the way that the terrain is. If you park your car there, you're probably not going to be able to get out. There is kind of a weird ditch in front. But right back here, you can see that there are workers on the property. They have a dumpster out there. And there are several people that are, I'm not sure what exactly they're doing, but they are working. But here's one more look at the guard shack. And I also used to hear stories, too, about fans coming here to kind of check out the house. And if Johnny was outside, he would come out to the fence and he would meet and say hello to whatever fans might be outside. So a real friendly and personable guy, even though, in a case like that, today you wouldn't see much of that. I mean, if you were sitting outside of a celebrity's home now, you'd probably get the police called. But, just a very interesting part of history here. 35 years they spent here calling this home. But that's pretty much all that I have for today. And there's one more look of the lake out there. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to post a lot more videos from this trip. We're going to visit Johnny Cash's grave in one of the future videos. But a lot of really good stuff coming up. And I also can't stress this enough that if you come and walk around here, just be careful because it's really easy to fall in this area. But be careful, stay well. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll catch you on the next video.